Man U that they missed their chance.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then, but I can't. I'm trying to watch the rest of the Premier League too because I like seeing all these young players come up.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea's team, dude. If Chelsea's focused on youth instead of buying like Werner and Havertz for 140 million, and they were bringing up their own youth players, they could save so much money and spend it on like actual world class players.
Mm-hmm.
I think Havertz will be, but. Right now, he doesn't. Doesn't look like he has any confidence whatsoever.
I think those two are a weird one because they're both German from German clubs, both still like fairly young to come into the Premier League. Like they've both only played for one other team. It's just a weird transition.
And Havertz really only had like not even a full
season, a season and a half.
Yeah.
Well, he started out on the wing 2 years ago, and then they had him and Brandt in the midfield. No, started on the wing 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He started early.
Wait.
And then Brandt and he played in the center mid.
Really?
2 years ago, and then he was still there by himself last year, and now he's here.
Gotcha.
Because Brandt went to Dortmund last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not short of first team
experience
or gameplay. Yeah, I mean he's good to go. I like I said, I think a lot of it's just Lampard trying to do like. I think he's obsessed with a couple of his ideas that will not work, but he's like, no, if we do it exactly how it's never going to work if it's not working now.
4-4 fucking 2 lamps. 4-4 fucking 2.
Dude, it's coming back in fashion. Like people are actually running that shit now.
See, it's coming back in fashion for the teams who like struggle and they try to do smash and grabs. So like Burnley, prime example. That's all they've played for the past few years, and it works for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like West Ham, it wasn't working. They played like a 4-3-3 last year in the Championship because they were way better than everyone else in the Championship. But then they come to the Premier League with Bilic, and he still tries to play that, and it worked against Chelsea.
Talking about West Brom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, what did I say? Did I say West Ham?
Yeah.
No, I meant West Brom. And now that Alderweireld is in, obviously he plays 4-4-2. It's like 4-4-2. You only play that if your manager is English and was born before 1996.
I've been looking into it. I'm a sucker for formations. So I've been looking into it lately, and it does cover the most space. Like I think it offers the most options for any type of gameplay that you want to play, because you can still have overlapping fullbacks with it. You can still have both of your center mids drop. You can have one of the strikers peel in. With other formations, there's like a set duty and responsibility per each position.
Oh yeah.
With a 4-4-2, it's so malleable that you can put whoever you want out there and they'll find a rhythm.
Your center mids though have to be like workhorses. Like that is the whole thing about it. Like that's why when United played it with Keane and Scholes,
one just has to be attacking, one has to be defensive. I don't think either of them have to. They both have to work hard. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that has to be like the epitome of their game.
If they're playing against a 3-man midfield, that's when Chelsea, when Lampard made the subs in that Leicester match, and he had it was Ndidi, Tielemans, and Maddison versus Kovacic and. Who else was it?
Jorginho,
Mount?
I feel like he played.
No, it was Mount.
That was the game before.
Yeah. Kovacic and Mount versus those three, like, they have no chance. They have no chance.
Where was Conte?
He didn't play. I don't know.
Lampard played strikers.
Lampard played Tammy up top with Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi on the wings. And then the midfield was it was Mount and Kovacic. I can't remember who the other one was. I'll look it up. But whatever he did, he took off the center mid, one of the center mids, and then he made them go 4-4-2 to play Werner as like a roaming player around Abraham. And they were just getting murdered in the midfield then. Like, they had nothing.
Leicester is like one of the top 3 midfields in the league, though, just because of the balance alone. You've got your defensive midfielder,
Kai Havertz, and then they brought on.
Bro, what?
They brought on Ziyech,
in the midfield, bro. And Kovacic is not a defensive mid. You're going to get run through, and he did. But with Leicester, like, you've got a defensive midfielder, a true box to box with Tielemans, and then Maddison, a playmaker. Those three. That's the perfect balance. And I think we're kind of getting there with Man U a little bit. The thing is, we're a little lopsided. Like, our playmakers are box to box,
and our
roaming midfielder he just roams. I mean, like, Pogba.
If they play Matic, I'm like Matic, Pogba, and Bruno. If Matic is fit and rested and ready to go, I think that's our best midfield. Because Matic will sit, Pogba you can let him do whatever he wants, and Bruno's always going to be in and around the box making chances. So I think that's the best midfield United have.
I agree on paper, and I want to believe that too. The thing is, what I've seen with Matic though is that he when there is nobody to press from the counter coming back onto us while we're playing defense, there's nobody to press from behind. Matic is a vacuum for loose balls and people having to run into him. He's not really like he plays zone, but unless you've got somebody who's going to come back and press from behind, he's not going to be the one to make the tackles. You see,
if you play, you kind of need like a Fred or someone like that, I guess.
Somebody of that, to get Matic into that defense. You see what I mean?
But I think
Matic's only ever played in a double pivot, even back at Chelsea.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I think Arsenal have the potential of a really good midfield if they had anyone other than Xhaka in there. I mean, if Arsenal go for either a box-to-box midfielder or a center defensive mid, you have Partey who can play both. So
I think Partey and Xhaka is a fantastic double pivot. I think it's perfect.
I think it's solid, but if the Arsenal want to get to the next level, I think that you have to get a better player than Xhaka.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But the slander that I've seen Xhaka take,
he doesn't deserve it.
I don't think he's as bad of a player as he's made out to be.
No.
I think his temperament just is what affects.
Yeah, the fact that he came off the field last season and told all the Arsenal fans or was that 2 years ago? He came off the pitch and they were all booing him, and he took off the captain's armband and threw it down and told them to all go fuck themselves.
I don't think he should be captain.
No. I'm not saying he should be, but his temperament like that, you can't. He gets for a midfielder who plays in his position, you don't want them to be super emotional. You want them to kind of be purpose to your anger. Yeah, if you make a tackle and the referee gives you a yellow, if you think you don't deserve it, just get up and go on with it. There's nothing you can do then. I feel like that's what you kind of have to do as a holding mid. I don't see many holding mids do that, but he gets very emotional.
If I'm given a yellow card I think is undeserved, I'll argue for it. But what he does is he full on pitches a fit, and then he'll go and earn a red card the next play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He can't hold in his emotions.
But I do think he as a more of a holding type midfielder, he's more decent than what he's made out to be, especially with somebody with the likes of Partey next to you who can be that engine defender and an engine attacker. I don't think it takes a little bit less off of Xhaka, and I think he can perform better.
Who could they pick up that would be a box to box or
they need a holding because Partey's box to box all day.
But the thing is, Partey can play holding and be amazing at it.
Yeah, but you want him to be the more mobile one. I feel like he's got everything that you need in a box-to-box midfielder. He's like a Vieira type.
Arsenal keep talking about wanting to buy Grealish, but it's
where does he fit?
If you're trying to play all these youth players, and you're going to either have to get rid of one of them or just don't get Grealish.
I don't know if they're trying to play the youth players. I think it's just working right now. I don't think that was on their agenda. I think it's just that's fucking.
I think Saka definitely was because.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But Smith Rowe, I think just it's kind of just happening, and then I think Martinelli was also in the plans from before, but that dude can't stay fit. Did you see him against Liverpool in their pre-match drills that he went to try and block a ball, and when he landed his ankle snapped? Dude, you have to be so unfortunate.
It was a light jog too. He wasn't even
It was like his foot didn't fully stick in the ground. He just rolled it. But
I wonder what happened with Rice Nelson also, because I think he played a good bit in Bundesliga when he was on loan.
Yeah,
I forget where he went though.
Yeah, and then he went. I think he was at Schalke or Hoffenheim.
Right.
One of the two. Yeah. And then he came back last year and he didn't barely got played. And he played against Liverpool earlier this season, and I think he scored.
I'm not sure.
Or was that the end of last season? I just know that Lacazette scored and then he scored.
I think Rice Nelson is better than Pepe at the moment, and Pepe's still getting more looks. Well, Pepe cost half the club
because it's a politics thing. United, right? Wan-Bissaka has been great. If United are trying to play on counterattack, Wan-Bissaka is the right back that you're going to use, right? Without a doubt. Just because if you're trying to soak up the pressure, he's the perfect defender for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can make tackles all day. and then he could just give the ball to whoever and they make the play.
I thought you meant on attack.
No. When you're soaking it up pressure,
Yes.
he's the perfect right back to have. When you're trying to go forward with the ball,
No.
you don't need a player who looks like he has cerebral palsy playing.
It's bad.
It is very bad.
It's bad.
And the thing was, I saw a highlight reel of him at Crystal Palace when he was attacking it from right back, and he looked solid going forward.
Did he look more like on balance, I guess? Because he looks
and he
handicapped.
actually did like scissors and stuff and was taking people on. And I was like, who is this kid? Like, this isn't the same player that we have. But now, the thing about it is, if United bring in a right back and that starts over him, or
That's the end of AWB.
No. If the goal is to bring in like an experienced right back, right? Like this is why I don't think United are going to get Max Aarons, is because if they bring in a younger right back for cheaper and he's going to play as like a fill-in role as AWB, right? But Max Aarons is a solid defender and he can get forward way better than Wan-Bissaka can. So if he starts playing better than Wan-Bissaka, then it becomes a politics thing where, well, Max Aarons is only 20 million and Aaron Wan-Bissaka is 50 million, so you kind of have to play the 50 million player
your
more,
money's worth,
which is I think also a problem that Chelsea are kind of having now with Havertz and Werner. Like, you can't not play them, but
that's on them. That's their fault.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. Like,
I see what you're saying, but like, from Chelsea's perspective, like you're gonna have to eat your own shit on that.
Yeah, and the same thing. If United get a younger right back and he does better than, like, if Ethan Laird comes through,
he will.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah,
he will. He's not going anywhere.
In the 3 matches he's played for MK Dons, he's had 3 10 out of 10 performances. He looked so good.
Yeah, he's unreal. From right, like I think there's a quote he was saying. Yeah, I just like to contribute on offense.
No, he's like,
bro,
I like to express myself whenever I get the ball.
Yeah,
and it's like like you said, you're a right back, my guy.
But all power to it, though. I mean, like, that's where the game's going, and if he can produce from out there, that's fine. It gives us more bodies in the middle.
But that's the thing, that it becomes a politics thing where do you play Ethan Laird, who's come up through the ranks and he's worked his way up, or do you have to play the £50 million player that you paid for? See what I'm saying? So it comes to a politics thing, and people will say that that's not a thing in football, but like that is 100% a thing, because no manager wants to buy a player for more money than they were worth. Let's be honest, and then just have to say like, well, made the wrong choice here and paying $50 million for Wan-Bissaka. Really, I don't think the money is really the manager's fault. Like, that is really on the boards. Like, the board to not pay as much. Because apparently when United were signing Wan-Bissaka, they had a deal basically wrapped up in April. All they had to do was give them the money. And then Wan-Bissaka started playing better. And then in the summer, they were about to give, like, I think it was like $35 million for Wan-Bissaka, which at that point, for a 19-year-old right back who had Premier League experience.
21.
When we signed him?
Was he 20 or 21? He wasn't 19.
Oh, well, whatever age. Yeah. An up-and-coming young right back. $35 million, that's fairly solid, especially since he's English. But then what United fucked up in is, like, with Chelsea, with Ziyech, they paid Ajax right after the January transfer window, and they gave him the fee then. So then when the transfer window opened, which transfer window really, it's not a transfer window, it's a registration window, because you can buy a player. Yeah, you can buy a player outside of it like it's nothing. So what United didn't give them the deal to sign $35 million. They waited, and then he did better. So then Palace was like, you're gonna have to give us $50 million if you want him. So, which from Palace, that's great. That's great business for them. But then United, it just makes Ed Woodward and the rest of the board look like fucking idiots. And it's the same thing.
I think it's the board and the coach, though, because it's across the board. It's more than one team that's doing this. I think stats are getting conflated, because we wanted an attacking right back, right? That was in the plans. We got Dalot. Like, we're in the market. We want to play flying wing backs. So,
dude, we still have Dalot on loan.
I know. I think this is exactly what happened with Havertz and Ziyech too. Is they were looking at the stats, not what they need as a team, but they're sitting there thinking, Ziyech put up 20 assists last year. He can do that for us, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because he does it all the time. He does it all the time at Ajax with those players.
Yeah.
In a system that works for him to do that. And I think that when we saw that Wan-Bissaka had like twice as many tackles as the second most player, that same year, we're like, oh, hell of a defender. But is that what we're looking for? Are we looking for the defender that makes the most tackles, or are we looking for the defender that has the most assists? Because how do you want to play? Because asking a defensive fullback to play forward is just going to bite you in the ass, because he can't do it, or else he would have already.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what happened with Havertz and Ziyech. Obviously, they didn't need a 10. They've already got two of them. But what do? Go and buy two more 10s and try and play them out on the wing.